Hello folks, this is Mr. Dan coming to you from the Landscape Design Classroom, and today I'm going to talk to you about creating a corsage. Main idea, how can I learn to design corsages in a creative way? So the corsage on the right is a corsage made of roses and carnations, perhaps a little bit of baby's breath down in there and wrapped up with a nice ribbon. So what is a corsage? A small scale flower arrangement. Flowers, foliage, embellishments made into a wearable cluster of flowers, worn by a woman on a special occasion, used to enhance mood, theme, or setting, and to coordinate design elements of an event. And typically a corsage is going to be worn up here on the lapel of a woman's shirt, or just on the shirt, or they even make arm corsages as well. So one flower or a bunch of small flowers, and we'll take a look at a few of those. So history of corsages. Ancient Greek brides and other women wore flower bunches to weddings to ward off evil spirits. 15th century English War of the Roses. White roses for those supporting the House of York. Red roses for those supporting the House of Lancaster. So it's kind of like an easy way to identify who they were with during that war. Women of the Victorian era, especially in France, flowers were worn on the bodice of a dress for formal occasions, and the corsage is the French word for bodice. So moving into corsage design elements and principles for a floral arrangement and a corsage. So design elements, you have color, line, pattern, point, shape or form, size, space, and texture. Design principles here: balance, contrast, focus, harmony, proportion, rhythm, scale, and unity. And should complement the wearer. So scale and proportion, a major consideration. A small woman should have a smaller corsage. A larger woman should have a larger corsage. So let's choosing a designer style. So the flower choice must be something the wearer likes. So you always want to talk to your customer, see what they're into, and then kind of go off of that. You want to have formality for the occasion, coordinated with clothing color. White, if you don't know what color it is, white is definitely the most popular color of flower because there's so many different colors that we work with, and white typically goes with most. Styles include S-curve, round, triangular, crescent, and straight line. So making a corsage, high quality flower or flowers. Make sure that they are either opened up or halfway opened up when you're creating them. Also be aware of what kind of flower you are using at that point. Now, must be lightweight and easy to wear. Similar process to making a boutonniere that we just went over. Time consuming in relation to size of the finished product. So you're typically going to pay more for a corsage than a boutonniere, but that's because typically corsages are bigger. So to get started, gather all materials: flowers, wire, floral tape, ribbon, foliage, tool, accessories, wire cutter, 2 corsage pins, and a plastic bag. So there's significantly more stuff here compared to a boutonniere. You're going to want to remove stems, wire each flower, and then moving into wiring, that's an 18-inch standard length floral wire. So just like I showed you in the last presentation with a carnation, you want to have 2 wires coming out of each side. So wire gauge thickness to suit flowers and ribbon. Floral tape covering all wires because you don't want to jab yourself. Floral stems and calyxes. And the purpose of wiring is holds flowers and other elements in correct position. Easier to arrange flowers, adds flower stability, decreases stem bulk, and easier to add accessories such as bows, leaves, or puffs. Wiring methods include hook, piercing, clutch wire, and hairpin. So spacing and form. Each flower should be seen separately, not too skimpy or too lightly packed. Dominant flower faces the front, and corsage appears to have depth. So even in the corsage you see here on this woman's chest, you have like the nice flower in the front, which is a little bit nonchalant with the color of her blazer, but you can also see some greenery in the back to make that stand out, and that gives it nice depth. So overall form should taper gently at both ends using foliage, buds, small flowers, and embellishments. So you can use a lot of stuff here to get your corsage. Flat back to fit on shoulder or wrist. And let's move into tool and netting. So what is tool? It's a thin decorative netting. Comes in many colors. 25 yards are usually on a bolt, about 6 inches wide. and used to make tufts as small accents added to a corsage. So let's look at some different tufts. So we have a scrunch tuft. That's it. Cut a 6-inch square of netting, pick up the center and gather it with your fingers. Make a hairpin shape with your wire and lay it next to your fingers. Wrap one side of the wire around the net and other side of the wire. Twist lightly several times and floral tape the wire and base of the net. So making the scrunch tuft, and there's all the, you scrunch it, you wire it, you twist it, and then you get done twisting it, you have your tuft. So parachute tuft, you're going to cut a 6-inch square of netting, fold in half to form a rectangle, grasp the loose corners and push them forward toward each other. Kind of looks like a parachute, and then wrap the base with a hairpin shaped wire, twist lightly, and wrap the wire with floral tape as for the scrunch style. So here's the steps here again. You're going to have your 6-inch piece, your wire, bringing those together, scrunch it up to make it look like a parachute, and then finish your wiring up. So butterfly tuft, wrap floral wire around the wire you will use, bending the wire into hairpin style. Cut a piece of netting 12-inch by 6-inch, which is bigger than your normal 6-inch square. Lay it down vertically and walk your fingers up the middle, scrunching it as you go. Slide the wrapped hairpin shaped wire over the scrunched middle and twist. The netting will fluff out into a circle. So as you can see here, you're going to get your materials. You're going to start scrunching that up. Once it's scrunched up, you wire in the middle to help with that scrunch. Then you're going to let it out into that wire hairpin. Now, ribbon for corsages. Ribbon is used for bows, wide variety of colors, widths, and finishes. Satin, acetate, or an acetate are the most common. Smooth and shiny on one side. Dull shows fabric weave on the other side. Solid colors or with patterned sheer, mesh metallic, flocked velvet, and other finishes. So let's get into corsage placement. So pinned on the woman's dress at her left shoulder, should bend gently over the collarbone. Wearer should be able to turn her head and smell the corsage, but she really shouldn't be touching the corsage with her skin. So kind of like looking over and just being able to sniff. So modified corsage used for a strapless dress or sheer fabric, worn at wrist, hair, handbag, or another location. So pinning on a corsage, similar to pinning on a boutonniere, use 2 large pearl-headed pins, larger than those used for boutonnieres. First pin near to the top, second pin lower down, and then pin the corsage in place, fasten to the woman's left shoulder, and pinned from the top down at an angle. So as you can see in the picture, it's pretty much just leaning right up over that collarbone, and it's easier to lean over and sniff. For special events, many special occasions such as proms and weddings, any event where a woman is honored, and regional differences. Some areas have huge homecoming corsages, some regions prefer wrist corsages. So there's a lot of different types of corsages that you can make. So weddings, mothers and grandmothers, other important participants, showers and parties, retirement, engagement, bridal and baby showers, hence the theme of the event, simple 1 or 2 flower corsages. And some more corsages, birthday corsages, which were popular in 50s and 60s, not typically today. And corsages for dances, coming out parties, formal dances, maybe a traditional shoulder corsage, maybe a wrist corsage for a strapless or sheer dress. So for homecoming corsages, annual event during the football season, flowers often exchanged, corsage for the girl, boutonniere or garter for the boy, and then regional differences in size or composition. Simple live carnation, bow, and a left school letter, or large elaborate chrysanthemums with streamers, trinkets, and accessories. Mother's Day corsages were founded in 1908. I'll let you read through that. It's really not that important for what our purposes. And then today's orchids and other flowers are also popular. I would say orchids are actually more popular than corsages at this point. So the bottom line here, a corsage is a small wearable cluster of flowers, foliage, and embellishments. It is often used as a woman's accessory at formal events and other celebrations. And while small in size, corsages require careful planning and construction. So you want high quality flowers, color and design appropriate to the individual and the occasion, and careful construction techniques. The better these look, the more people are going to enjoy them and be able to wear them more efficiently without falling off. Always put your pin down through from the top. Make sure you don't stab yourself with it. And as long as you do a good job, you're going to get more business. So that is the end of my presentation. But if you have any questions, you can reach me down here in the landscape design classroom. But have a great day, folks. Thanks for listening.